Welcome again, everybody, to another edition of Speedway Stories. I'm your host, Wally, with my co-host, Johnny. Um,
Good evening.
we have a special guest for you guys tonight. Let me bring the gentleman up. It's Mr. Tim Warner. Um, he drives the wrong turn 2.0 mega truck. He's kind of local to me here in Ohio. I met him this past summer at the Hartford Fairgrounds during the monster truck and summer race. How you doing tonight, Tim?
Good, good. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Alrighty. So I'm gonna hand the floor over to you, like I do most of my guests. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and everything else, and we'll go from there, sir. The floor is yours.
All right, perfect. Hi. Yep, I'm Tim Warner, driver owner of the Wrong Turn 2.0 truck. The reason that it's a 2.0, the original Wrong Turn, I purchased that out of South Carolina, and it served me well. We did some serious carnage to it at some of the events, so we had to build a new one. And Cleatech out of Michigan built me this chassis, built me this truck, and that's kind of why it's 2.0. And the Wrong Turn is another story for another day on where that is. That's not coming off of the old movies or what have you. I am notorious for making a wrong turn legitimately, so that this just kind of fit with us. But I'm originally from Greenville, reside in Heath here, right here locally to us. Been in off-road sport for, let's see, 30 some years now. I've been in the off-road sport, whether it be, mud bogging where I started out back in the local track there, the world famous Vic's mud bog is where I started and kind of fell in love.
Yep.
He taught me a lot over the years, and my dad always thought I was nuts for tearing up a good 4-wheel drive truck back in the day, and I guess now I don't have to use my daily driver to go out and tear it up anymore.
No, you just got a more expensive toy you get to play with a little more horsepower too. So
yes. Right. So the mega truck, is a lot of people look at it and go, oh man, that'll go through a lot of mud. That'll, you can do this, you can do that with it. Mega trucks themselves are in their own world class of vehicles. You have your tough trucks, you have your monster trucks, you have your rally trucks. Mega trucks can do just about the same thing as what a monster truck does. We're just not limited on horsepower. We're not limited on our chassis. We're not limited on a lot of different things that maybe the mega monster trucks are. That just lets us, kind of run wild, and it's really the mega truck is really a mentality. It is sorry guys, let me mute my phone here.
You're good, man. That's no problem, buddy. You're good.
Mega truck is really a mentality. You go out and you give it your all, and just kind of see how the truck performs. The more seat time you get, like anything, the more comfortable you get with it, the more that you trust your ride, the more that you trust your instincts with everything. You know, I did that this summer. I had the first opportunity to hit a couple of the tough truck tracks. You
That
know,
was
and
awesome.
so and I'll tell you that those tracks that, you know, compared to what I'm used to, and you know, I'm kind of new in the mega truck sport, so I am learning a
Hmm.
lot and what
Right.
have you. You can't ever be too young to learn more. But I was really surprised at how well the tough trucks flew and landed on those jumps compared to how I landed and jumped on those. You know, me, I felt like a log wagon on some of those smaller jumps
Right.
where
And the guys were just like a bird in the air, man. I mean, especially with
yes.
Al and those guys and their modifieds, man. They make that when they hit those jumps, dude. They just like I said, a bird in the air.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I like, you know, our trucks are set up a lot like monster trucks, if you will. We like the long approaches, long jumps to where we can get a lot of air, and it's hard to get that
You guys are
adjust.
Yeah, because to me, the mega truck racing, I'm like you, I grew up with the monster trucks, watching Bigfoot, USA One, all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
When the mega trucks started coming in, man, like you said, the capability of these trucks and how far they've come over the years. All you guys really are baby monster trucks, but like you said, unlimited horsepower. It's what the driver can and chassis can withstand on this stuff. So,
well, 100%. You know, a lot of the monster trucks, they're limited on the horsepower, the
hmm
1500 horse, what style motor they can run, and they have to weigh a certain amount of, you know, on the a certain amount is what they need to weigh. I
right.
think it's 10 to 12,000 pounds is what they have to weigh.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what Tim Howard was saying because I picked his brain about that there at the monster truck race when we were all there and everything, and I
yeah,
helped that day. I was curious because I always hear on Monster Jam, they only talk certain things, and usually Google's your friend, but it wouldn't
right.
go into detail of actual how a monster truck's supposed to be for these shows in this and for Monster Jam the way they want them set
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So
Right. And Monster Jam does have quite a few rules. Now, mind you, I'm not privileged to that info myself. I'm not that high on the food chain to know some of this, but you know, hearing people talk and what have you, you know, our
right,
chassis are pretty much the same. There's not a lot
yeah,
different in our chassis. The big difference, you know, I run a 611 Meritor. I run two steer axles, so I have the 4-wheel steer. You
hmm
know, a lot of those guys are running the petty bones, the 20-ton axles, but let's be
oh
honest,
yeah.
they're jumping, you know, 40, 50, 60 foot in the air and coming down and bouncing like a pillow or a trampoline,
Nope.
you know, and they're awesome in their own right, you know, of what they do. And I chuckle whenever everybody says, what is a mega truck? What is this? You know, what do you do? And, you know, you see the aggressive tires, the tractor tires, and man, that'll go through mud. You know, sure it will, but you've seen the truck. I'm not saying mine's any better looking than the next, but I don't
Oh,
like a lot of it, to be honest
I
with
well
you.
my thing is I've been watching that one of the channels I follow is that's Buddy 713 out of Michigan, man, with
Yes.
the Perkins mud bogs and
Mud
watching
bog,
these
yes.
dude, those mega trucks, yeah, they can go through until they hit the deep pit. They're like anything else. They can sink just as well as the next bone
Oh,
stock truck.
100%. 100%. You know,
I watched many of them.
right. Right. We actually went up to Perkins last year. It was going to be the second time out with the truck, and I had a mechanical malfunction that we weren't able to run.
Damn.
And yeah, and what was really looking that's been on my bucket list. I've had certain things that are on my bucket list. You know, a couple
Right.
of them I've been able to do. I've still got a lot on my bucket list to do yet. But that is some of the stinkiest mud I have ever been around. And I'm a farm boy, so you know it takes a lot for me to go. Oh, that
I was gonna
stinks. And
say,
let me tell you
I was
what.
gonna say, if
Right.
you've been around farms and stuff, especially hog farms and stuff, if the
Yes,
mud smells work makes you say ooh,
Oh yeah.
there's something going on.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the story has it. I don't know how true it is, but this is what I've always been told that up there at Perkins, there's actually a lake up underneath of that,
Is
and
that
there's
why
no
it's
bottom to
always
that
so
mud
wet?
pit. What's
Really?
that? Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
reason why it's when it basically kind of dries off the top until the spring
Until you stir it.
deal up there and start digging it.
Oh.
No kidding, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Because if you ever,
Oh.
I had an individual tell me that, look, when those big when they come off that big jump, if you're standing on the sides of it, you can feel the whole thing wave. And I'm not kidding you. You sure can. You can feel the whole ground just kind of move under you. Yeah, it's that's why you don't see them really when you see them get in and start to get stuck. They just let out.
Yeah.
Like, man, why don't they just keep at it? No, you'll dig yourself, all the way down to nothing.
That explains it. Why? Yeah, because it's like the 1 year Dirty 30. Watched him the first time I stumbled on there. He buried that ass into his the Dirty 30, and you heard people in the guy's video. Keep going, keep going. And then you hear Buddy go, "We don't want the truck in a graveyard." And now you answered the question. Now why up there? But that is like everybody's. Like you said, that's as a spectator. That's on my bucket list to go and take my wife because she's into the motorsports stuff and my family is too. But that's one of those we want to leave the kids behind and go to take a trip to up there to catch either the spring or the fall show. Yeah, man, that's definitely one. And
I could not believe when we were there how many people was there sitting on that hillside, just one big happy family. And that's what's great about, I say, the mud sport, the off-road sports. But everybody is family. If a guy's broke down, this guy comes and helps. It's you can be competitors when you're up on that line and you're side by side with them on a track, but once it's over with, you're best buds again. And that's what I love about the off-road sport itself is that family camaraderie.
I've noticed that more between, and I've grown up around it all, drag racing, everything. Truck and tractor pulling and the off-road is more of a tight-knit family after all these, over the years growing up. It's like, oh, drag racing's huge. Yeah, it's there, but it's not as much as I see, like you said, the off-road community, the truck and tractor pulling community. Man, and like me and Tyler we were talking with Tyler last week and Wes and Brock when they were up. It's amazing to be part of this family and to see some of these guys when they were little kids. When I first went to the first race and stuff at Knox County Fair, the Super Bowl, up on the horse pulling track, to see these guys actually racing now. It's amazing.
It's funny you bring that up, because one point I love talking about is, us as racers, we need to have places to be able to run, whether it be at the fair, whether it be at this private track or that private track, and we all as racers, because of our personalities, we all have that type A, mentality to where we want to be the best. That's why we do that's why we compete in events. But not only supporting the racetracks as whether you like the person that's running the track or not, supporting the venue makes a huge difference. Where I started at the Vic's Mud Bog, 25 years ago, in the local community, you only had to drive 30-40 minutes away to hit a local mud bog from the Centerburg area to Utica to Lancaster. I mean, they were all over the place. Now, I don't think there's anything even remotely close for mud bogs. I think there might be one around Zanesville area and one down in southern Ohio. But I don't think there's any.
No, because Vic's is gone. We lost Crumbs.
HDMP
Danville. Yeah, I mean, we've lost. And the bad part is, it's not that it's not wanting to carry on. Like, I know Vic had some health issues and that, but their biggest problem was the premiums for the damn insurance went through the roof over that.
And that's ridiculous. Yes, and that's what we as racers, we think, oh man, look at how much we put into our trucks. Look how much time we put into this. What none of us really think about is how much time has the promoter, has the track owner or the track manager put into this to give us a place to go play? Because let's be honest, none of us are getting rid of this.
Oh no.
we're going to have a row of trophies that one day we're going to be able to look back and go, hey, I did that once upon a time. But we're not getting paid big bucks to do this.
Right.
And if we don't support these local fairs, these local tracks, everybody loves the fair events when the fair is going on. But what about the events in between when the fair is going on, when they're trying to show, hey, this is what we can do, this is what we can do. And I was surprised at that event, just using local, the one that was put on up there. What was that, June or July? The KOA drag races. And
and then Lonnie having his summer race and everything else. I mean and Lonnie's the reason I want to dip my toes into the promoting, besides giving back to the sports I love and shit.
Right.
But it's the insurance thing right now is my biggest hang up, because nobody wants to answer me. And I'm going to be honest right here on my live show. Nobody will give me a straight answer on what are the premiums or what do I need to do. And I've emailed like 13 different places for insurance, and I've had one get back with me that we'll get you a quote here soon for just those 2 days. And I still haven't heard nothing. That was back in October.
And that's the problem anymore, is to get an event for a couple shows or get the insurance for a couple shows that you want to do, is getting an insurance company to one, the agent or what have you, to want to write a policy for just a couple of them, because they really want to, golly, I hate to say this, but they really want to break it off in you. And I know that's not no, really
and that's it. And that's it. It really is. It's the truth. I mean, I talked to Bill Lutz. He's one of my good drag racing buddies here and stuff. He deals with the people in the insurance side, and I got to get with him again. But he's mostly on the drag racing side, like doing the insurance, the cover in the vehicles. But he was going to look into it in between when he can to see what he could do, because he was the only other person I knew I could message and get a hold of to pick his brain. Hey man, I'm trying to do this as a first time promoter and give back, to the community. But yeah, when I got a hold of Hartford, it was cool. I got to have a $500 deposit to hold the 2 days for the dates that I got in October, which I'm cool with. My thing is I'm leaning towards when I'm working on getting it there. We're slowly getting the money up so I can say, here, can I meet you guys and give you the whole disc? I'm honestly thinking, because of the time of the year that I'm doing this and the way October's been, I'm hoping it stays like it's been, the decent weather. I'm thinking with the fair board, because I'm going to put it out here, it's either $5,000 straight up for the whole weekend of the fair board, or give them 20% off the top of the gate. I did some math. I love math. I love crunching numbers. I'd rather do the 20%, because actually when it's all said and done, I pay less than paying that $5,000 for the 20% off the top of the gate.
Right. But with the right promotion, how many people could you put in those? But how many butts could you put in those seats?
Right, and that's why I've been pushing. I've got, and I've people's reached out to me since I put it in the chatter, the group chat and everything. I don't know if I have you in there on the Facebook Messenger, but I put my proposal out, what I want to do. Hell, Karen, I'll get you added in there, man. And but yeah, Karen, she's like, I'll print these off and I'll start hitting local businesses. The one that surprised me the most in the whole chat, I didn't expect. Nick Anderson gave me pointers, man. I have the utmost respect for him.
Yes.
He goes, hey bud, this is what you need to do here and here, just like you stepped up. Like I said, I only met you through Al and stuff these last 2 summer races, and then when you seen my post about my stuff and you messaged me, I'm like, this is freaking awesome, man. You know what I mean? It's somebody that's got the same drive.
not to sound selfish here, but I was looking, hey, maybe I got another spot that I can run my truck locally, because once again,
I was Brock Talbot and stuff. We were talking, we text back and forth. He actually brought up, how about doing you like in between while we're
Right.
doing the stuff, have Tim come do again. I was like, dude, if he's down and he's not
Yeah.
racing or got a race that weekend, I'd love to freaking have him again. That'd be fucking awesome to have him at my show.
I love hitting
yeah.
events locally. You know, me going to, and I've done a couple smaller mud bogs locally, and look, you build this stuff, you know, the pro mega truck or what have you, because you got a little bit of an ego. Let's be honest. You know, you're not going to sink that kind of money in something if you don't want to take it out and show it off. Whether it be, you know, not just look pretty. You want to go try to show what it can do.
Right.
I don't have anywhere locally to do that. You know, I think the closest event that I have, you know, I'm in the Premier Mega Truck Series. So we do Dennis Anderson's. We do a lot. Let's see, we're there at Dennis Anderson's in April, I think it is. And then we're in Virginia a couple different times. And that is a track beyond a track.
The one in Virginia is?
What's that?
The one in Virginia or Dennis Anderson's?
Dennis Anderson's. That jump off that back end is no joke, guys. That is a massive jump.
It looks like it in the videos.
Yeah, I definitely air melted. And what nobody really believes on that I built a little jump out back for us to kind of test it a little bit. Mm-hmm. That was the first time out in the truck, and the guy that built the truck, you know, the last thing he said to me before we took off in the toter to head down there to Dennis Anderson's down there was, man, give her hell and don't let up. Well, that's all I was thinking after I came across that little jump coming into it is, man, I better make him proud. He did all this work. That was up in the air forever.
Oh, dude, that is cool as hell, though, man.
Yeah, but I think the closest one we have is down in Rush, Kentucky, the end of the year in September.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, I got it. I follow the Premier Mega Truck schedule. Okay. I got this year's schedule, so yeah, that is the closest one, and to actually go see you guys race close by.
And you know what's funny? We've tried 3 different times in Ohio to get spectators involved into the mega truck sport, whether it be on the promoter side, whether it be us on the mega truck side. I don't know where the disconnect is, but you get up to Michigan, you go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia.
Oh, it's huge. Eastern part of, it is amazing.
Yeah. You mentioned mud bogs, and they look at you and go, "What do you mean, hill and hole?" The straight hill and holes and what have you. The style of racing is just different.
And very much so.
Well, and that's like, besides the East Coast, I mean, look at the shit they do in Texas with the rednecks with paychecks, the mega trucks that travel clear out there, go to Louisiana for that stuff too, man. I mean, it's insane.
Florida,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's really disappointing that Ohio, you go to Missouri, you go to Minnesota, Wisconsin, they're all around us. I think there's only pro mega trucks in Ohio that I know of. There might be other mega trucks, mega bog trucks or what have you.
Yeah, they're mostly mud bogging trucks I know of, but you're one, and I think there's 2 others that I know of.
Yep, Jake Burton and Joe Stewart.
Yep.
And I can't think of anybody else that still has them that runs around. There used to be a guy over in Eastern, over around Cambridge area that had one for a while. I can't think of his name. But it's almost no different. It's almost like when the mud bogs died. That's when some of the off-road did.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
Very much so.
It's the lack of, let's be honest, that all the off-road sports have gotten out of hand on price.
Oh yeah, it's gone extreme on what it used to be. I mean, it is crazy.
Right. Yeah. 14 years ago, we put together a truck in our barn for probably $3,000 to $5,000. It was back in the early days of the diesels, and everybody knew me as Diesel Tim back in the day. I put a 24 valve in it, and went out and we raced the living dog snot out of that thing everywhere. It was just a unique type of vehicle. As it seemed like when we quit racing that, and I'm not saying we're not the cause of the demise, but it seemed like that once that hit, everybody's checkbooks had to get open even more to be able to compete. And you look at a lot of these other areas, of what they're doing, to compete here, because we do, everybody likes to travel a little bit, whether it's 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. It's neat to go hit these other tracks, which we should. But supporting our home tracks too, there's always politics involved with it, whether you think there is or not. This person doesn't like this person doesn't like that, and we always off-road, and we need to figure out how to keep the off-road sports together. And man, I was privileged that Tyler and Al let me come up there to the fair with them.
I love that you showed up. I seen you pulling in, my jaw just dropped. I'm like, I get to see a mega truck in person. I was like a little kid again. I'm like,
right.
Mega truck in person.
Yeah, and exactly. And that being the hometown fair, where I grew up showing cattle up there at the fair, and so it was just one of those. It was a, I guess, one other thing off of my bucket list, if you will. But let's back up for just a second about this whole track and supporting our tracks. One thing I want to add to this, as we support our tracks as competitors, we need to realize, and the one reason a lot of these tracks go by is because we're not bringing the younger generation up with us. We're not taking the time as competitors to talk to the kids. And I don't know if you saw me up there at Croton, when they had us all lined up and what have you. What's the first thing that
during the monster?
Yeah, around the monster trucks, and understandably there are reasons for this, and I understand, but there's always the tape around the trucks. Look, don't touch it, don't do this, don't do that. You were a little kid once, I was a little kid once, and I always take my doors off my truck and I put the kids up in the seat of the truck. Let them see what it's like.
Yeah, all you guys did. All the rough truck guys and you guys, that whole time, during that time, I think Tim was smiling more than the whole ordeal, seeing the reaction more towards the tough trucks and you than the monster truck thing. Right. I mean, the only one that during the monster truck shows, the van leaders, they're badass. They let they'll let the kids, but the family that has higher education, that school bus, that is like the biggest draw anytime they bring him to Croton. It's just freaking amazing.
Yes, yeah, he is a great guy. That was the first time I ever met him up there. He's kind of turning into a little bit of a mentor for me on help me get some adjustments. Hey man, I saw this.
Yeah.
And things that nobody sees behind the scenes of these shows is what really goes on in between time. I was all strapped in my truck getting ready to run, and they said, hey, you're going to be number 6 or whatever it was. We're going to run the monster trucks through. And his Black Stallion truck wouldn't start. Starter went out at it.
Right.
So, he's out there wrenching on it. I unstrap, go over, help him get his starter in and out and what have you. And then every time when I came back in, hey, next time when you hit this jump, hit it like this, or hey, we know that with your tires, you can't clear the vans like what we can with the tires. That's why I finally was able to jump the car up there, because he said, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to roll over top of one of these to put it down a little bit.
What do you think of that there? I did good question, Scott. I never even thought about that. Yeah, Matt Triff, man, he's doing some amazing. I know there's a bunch of us pushing for the rough trucks to get in the bin up there.
Who is that up there that's doing that?
His name's Matt Riff. He used to race NASCAR and everything else.
Okay.
And then he's got a buddy. They just finished up. They're going to have supercross races and stuff up there too. But he's going to do a drift track. He's doing a drift track. He wants to do, there's I guess I didn't realize there was 250 acres of him to play with.
Really? I didn't realize.
Yeah. Because they're still part of the old drag strip that was originally built. Oh. They're going to tear the rest of that up too. But they're looking for other ideas. And Cecil Frazier, Al, all of us has been pushing, hey, put a rough truck event on. Maybe we can get one of these days to revive with the rough trucks, get you and some of the mega truck guys where it doesn't interfere with the schedule. hey, let's put on a series up here. It could bring people back. That is a perfectly good opportunity.
Yeah,
And yes, you
absolutely.
are
I
right,
agree.
Scott.
Oh yeah.
It is. It's gonna be amazing for Central Ohio in itself, and possibly the whole state having something like that, where it's a variety of
Absolutely.
everything.
Well, that is the one thing that Ohio is missing. I think there's one up in northern Ohio, but let's be honest. Us in Central Ohio. If you're in Central Ohio, you can get to about any point in Ohio in roughly
Oh yeah.
3 hours, right? Three and a half
Yep.
hours max. Sometimes the GPS says you can't get there from here, but you can pretty much 3.5 hours. If there was one closer to Central Ohio, it would bring in a lot of
Oh,
outside
everybody.
too.
Well, back to the Vicks Mud Bog. When I was going back in elementary and high school, Indiana, Pennsylvania, you had people
Yes.
coming from Missouri. He even had people from Canada coming
Yes.
down racing that point series when that was going on. It was amazing meeting the people. And by the
That's a
way,
beautiful
Tim,
thing to watch happen.
this gentleman here, Azemphius, actually works in Missouri at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Okay.
And
Nice.
he's always been a big supporter of the channel before, and he's real big into that. Every time he comes in the chatters box, he goes, if we show up, he's got us covered anytime, and he throws it out the offer, pretty much to anybody that goes
Awesome.
out.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, and oh yeah, that's the thing too is flow racing has hurt a lot of things. I mean, with charging the stuff, I get it. I've actually reached out. I'm going to throw it out again. Motor Mania TV. I
Yeah.
actually reached out to them to see if they would be interested in doing something different besides drag racing. Come do a live for the rough truck event. I thought that'd
Yeah.
be kind of cool. Give them open their horizon. They said there's a possibility, but they got to look at their schedule because usually in October they got down in North Carolina and stuff that they do a big bracket race, but they got to look at their schedule. But they're willing to give me, look into it and see if they're available. And I think that'd be amazing to have that big of a platform besides trying to set up on this network here that my buddies started to give me this opportunity to do what I'm doing now, to go live on it as well. But they reach worldwide. We may reach worldwide, but I see it in their chatters box. People from Germany watching these big races that they put on for free because of their sponsors, which is awesome. I mean, that was a big thing that hit me. I'm like, I'm going to email them too and say, hey, would you be interested in something different? And they said, yeah, let's just see what our schedule is, and we'll get back to you at the end of February, beginning of March. I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
100%. And look at us. I'm going to kind of give it. I'm 50. And with that, what we're trying to do with the sport now, we got to remember that we got to keep this younger generation involved, whether it be through additional TV. That I just recently. And that's one thing that we as racers need to always remember, that we always have eyes on us. We've got a competitive side. We're there. We might be upset because this guy cut us off, or we missed a turn and what have you. Always remember, us as competitors, we've got little eyes on us all the time. We always want these events to be quote unquote family friendly. We want the whole family to be able to come to them and what have you.
Yes, sir.
That, there's that one time that no matter how upset we are at racing, we need to leave it out on the track. So when we come off that track, we're advocates of the off-road sport.
Beautifully said.
Right. And it's the truth. He's right. It is. But yeah, and then Ziphius just said, yeah, I agree with this one too. And people wonder why tracks are closing, let alone bitching about them. Yes, things like flow do keep people from coming to their local tracks.
Yes,
because they don't. And that's the thing I see a lot too on Facebook world and all this stuff. Well, it costs $40 to get in. Well, sometimes that $40, but yet you pay $200 a year subscription to for basically flow, because it's ridiculous now that it sucks. Yeah. Most of my races I want to watch, I'm not spending $80 for one weekend when I can go, okay, here's my $40 or $20 or $50 and drive 20 minutes or whatever,
Right.
and go watch it, be there.
Yes.
At this point, we're at a stage where choose the lesser of the two evils, so to speak.
Pretty much.
100%. 100%. And we've got to find a way to entice people, as he said, to get their butts off their couch.
Yes, sir.
And socialize once again. Let's be honest that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, did a number on a lot of people. And leaving all the politics aside, it's changed all of us. It's changed the way that racing goes. It's changed the way that everything works, supplies, everything on down the line. It's changed it. But the one thing that seems like it's slow to come back is everybody being out and wanting to socialize. It's too easy to get on your phone and start texting and typing. It's too easy to
everything is. Yep. It just got to the point that when we went through the whole COVID ordeal, man, it just it opened a black hole that we at a time would have never thought we would see. Especially
the meaning of community changed.
Yes.
Oh, big time.
Yes. Yeah. And once again, local promotion and what have you, getting people back interested in it.
Right.
It's not just a golly. 30 years ago, it was a bunch of rednecks on the back of the truck drinking beer. That's
right.
40 years ago. That's what it was.
It was actually honestly up till a couple years up until COVID. Even during that, you'd go to your local bar, like you said, bogs, everything else. Everybody out having a good time. Everything. That was our monthly gathering, especially with Vix, man. I look forward to. Hey man, I remember you from last one. It's like, oh yeah, here, you're sitting, everybody's sitting watching, having hooting and hollering, having a damn good time, enjoying, the mud bugs and shit. It was or any racing. But we definitely, I'm with you, Tim. We got to get it out there. Yes, we got the platforms to do it now more, but it's the same time when we're there at the facilities, and I agree 100%. We have to be more involved. We really do.
And that's just not the promoters. That's everybody from racing. I share where you're going. All that stuff makes a difference. Of the thing that just I say chaps my hide, it burns my bubble. Premier tried to do an event down in Chillicothe. What was that? 3 years ago? 3 years ago.
Really? I never knew that.
And that's what's funny. The Buckeye Off-Road Expo down there in Chillicothe at the Ross County.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They brought in the whole Premier Series, and there was 40, 50 mega trucks that showed up racing all day of racing from I think the race started at 10, 11 o'clock and went till 3, 4 in the afternoon. It was
but they never
racing, and
but they never advertised it, so nobody showed up.
Well, it's so funny. I had people messaging me, and I was trying to put it out, but if only one person locally is putting it out, it's really tough. Right. That was kind of the I'm trying to think. I thought they tried it someplace else too, and it didn't work out. I just can't remember.
I think they tried it. What's that one place up north where they had Rednecks with Paychecks came in? Yeah, up at Black Rock. And the sad part is they only had 4 mega trucks show up for that race, and they were even advertising that was crazy though.
Yeah.
And they were even advertising like crazy. But my thing is, with it, you got to start sooner than what they did. It was like only 2 months before the ordeal. I think if they could have done it 3 or 4 months in advance instead of like 2 or 3 months, or even at the beginning. Because that's my thing. That's why I started putting out there, hey, this is my idea. And it's a year away. I've learned here lately, if you're going to do something and try to get it done, it's got to be 6 months to a year so everybody can kind of plan around. And that's with a lot of the events. I mean, look at Rednecks with Paychecks. They were already promoting 2026 back in October, and their race season wasn't even over yet. Hey, here's the first 5 races, Redneck with Paycheck races, coming up in 2026. They were already out, but I mean, for them, but still, we have the platform ourselves, let alone, being the local guys, reaching out to people. Um, we can do it, but like you were saying, we can only do so much. That's the thing.
And once again, you're right. We can only do so much, but it also boils down to who do we have interested in the sport that's going to help us promote.
Right.
And as much as we want to see our age group doing it, I have guys that I went to school with that send me messages, or they'll stop off at the shop and go, man, just looking at that just hurts my back, or I don't think I'd be able to walk in a week's time, and what have you.
Right.
I would rather be the guy that 20 years from now I'm sitting on the couch going, that's some pretty cool shit I did back when I was this
Right.
back when I was here, versus the guy sitting on the couch right now going, man, that's pretty cool that he's doing that. I want to be that guy that when I look back, no regrets. Exactly. What I'm doing, whether it be promoting, whether it be in the sport itself, and what have.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. Getting a race with Tony Stewart this weekend.
Yeah.
Dude, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, man, it's just the social media and video games for the younger generation. And it falls on us parents, on some of us, because we're not. I remember my mom would get so mad, she'd chase me in the house with a belt and yardstick because I didn't want to come in during the summer
right.
or even in the rain. And now I'm fortunate. My kids, hey, go outside. I don't have to worry about that. That's no big deal. But their friends and stuff, oh, why don't you have gaming systems? They're like, why don't you go outside? And it's like looking at them. Well, they just stay inside. They only go out when they, to school or they're playing sports. But other than that, they're in front of a TV, and it's like, thank God you guys ain't that way.
Right. If you drive down a country road in rural America, anywhere, and you drive down through, I think it's intriguing to drive down and you see the basketball hoop in the yard. Nobody's out playing on that nice day.
No,
there's no footballs being thrown in the yard with dad or the brothers and the sisters, running around the trees,
the cousins and all that stuff. Oh yeah,
you don't see it. So, there's that AI, the video games and what have you are a way of life now, I guess, if you will. And once again, it is our fault. We all use the TV for our
it's incorporated into everything.
Yep. I mean, and it's sad. I try to instill the old school stuff, get them involved. And I'm just fortunate. My oldest two have the passion. My wife does, but she really can't do much because she never knows when she's off because she works in the medical field. So she's there, she's supportive. But man, my oldest two, they're diehard gearheads. My second oldest, she's my redheaded demon child, as I call her. She's up my ass all the time with anything motorsports. I mean, if I'm watching on YouTube, if she doesn't have homework or something to do, she's watching her. If I go to an event, where are you going, Dad? Where are we going? When are we going to this race? Well, if I got the money, we're gonna go watch this drag racing down at National Trails, or hey, we're gonna go watch rough trucks at this fair. It's nice to see that, and slowly becoming some of their friends. When I've some of them, they've actually, hey, can we, if our parents let us, this was last summer. Some of them are, hey, if our parents let us go, can we go watch the rough truck again? It's like my first year after 16 years of not racing rough truck, and I had the opportunity, thanks to Lance Morris from Morris Towing, give me the opportunity to drive at my hometown fair. And now I got the bug again, and my kid and my buddy, the previous summer, raced a summer race with my cousin and everything else, and he's hooked. And now my second oldest is of age. She's been wanting to do it ever since she was like 8, and it's like, wait until you get up to 16 years old, Now she's 17. So I got a Cherokee that I got. I'm going to build it for them. I'm going to probably race it maybe once or twice this year, and I'm going to hand the reins over to them. Here you guys go. You're going to carry on. You're going to help me work on it and everything else. But I'm passing the torch down, and it's awesome to see the interest they got in some of their friends that actually, want to do this stuff.
that's what it takes to get this younger generation back in it. You kind of made the comment when we started on the cast here is, man, you just got an expensive toy. Look, I didn't wake up yesterday at 18 years old and decide, hey, I'm going to have one of these. It's
Right.
taken me years and years and years, and I started. You got to start somewhere, and getting that younger generation involved is what's going to keep the outside motorsports alive.
Well, and I mean that. Look at the modified side of the tough trucks.
Yeah.
Everybody after COVID, it's like, oh fuck, everything's gonna be disappearing. All the old guys are getting out because the jamborees wasn't around no more.
Yeah.
And now the younger generation's jumping in. We're getting new blood, and it's like, dude, this is great. Let's keep this going.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
It renews faith in the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
100% it does. I really thought that, man, we were on the severe downturn of people coming into to the sports themselves, and seeing these younger guys getting into it is super exciting. Knowing that
especially Brock, Brad's cousin, Talbert. The kid got started in razor racing, and look at him now. First full year in a modified truck. Freaking
hell yeah.
The last half of the season, man, that kid he's going to be dangerous next year. Tyler Peters is another one that's, the more seat time, like you said, there's a lot of potential in the modified class this next year. There's going to be some tight ass racing going on. It's going to come down to Coshocton again, probably for the points again.
Yes, there are that modified. You guys, those modifieds are getting fast.
Oh, stupid fast.
That's the thing that, whether it be at a fair, whether it be at track or what have you, the one thing that we all want to win. Once again, that type A personality, we all want to win. We want to be the best at what we can do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Rights. But our safety side of things in these trucks, from what I have the mega truck to even the modifieds, and as simple as seats, belts, and I know that there's the rules on this, but RII devices, automatic cutoffs, that if a guy comes across and the throttle sticks, you think about it, the way that those trucks come off that jump, and they're facing towards we'll use Croton as an example, facing the dirt pile, and where everybody's piled up on that dirt. If somebody wasn't able to stop, or the throttle stuck, or what have you, how are we going to stop one of those trucks?
Yeah. And I mean that's something we were talking with Al at Croton. Tim was bringing it up. Tim's like, hey, I can get you guys to hook up, and Al agreed on it. I mean, the trucks, compared to what Adam Blankenhorn, Ray Scholes, all those guys,
all
their trucks, they were badass. But these trucks now, even their old chassis, they're getting, like you said, stupid fast, freaking getting major air. It's like, I love it, but there's got to be something. Eventually, I think it'll happen, but it'll be there.
Well, and you got to take. You have to. Golly, as much as I hate to say it, because if you go adding too much rules or too much, hey, you have to have this, you have to have that in my eyes is exactly what killed the jamborees. Is they went from, hey, you had to have this, to, oh, hey, you have to have the disconnect in the rear of the truck. You've got to have this. You've got to have this. When originally it was, hey, put on your ball cap and jump the seat and hook your seat belt and go. And now all of a sudden I got to have 5-point harness. And me as a racer that, racing on a budget, I'm looking at, okay, a 5-point harness is, a good, if I'm going to spend the money, I might as well buy good stuff.
You got to. When it comes to that,
I got to get a seat. I got to get a helmet. I got to get a race suit. You got $800 to $1,000 wrapped up in the stuff that
just a race suit alone itself. If you go with a 2-piece, you're almost $400 or $500 just in a 2-piece suit.
Yeah,
$300 if you're lucky for an RCI 1-piece suit, and that's still, because I'm a kind of a bigger guy, trying to find that size, if I wanted the
That
one
fits.
piece, freaking
Yep.
holy shit. It's like, and then
Yeah.
$400 or $500 for an SFI approved helmet if they require
Yeah.
that, you know.
And then on top of it, your harnesses, they're only good for so many
Yeah.
years because they gotta have the
Yep.
SFI or get recertified.
Yep.
The RII boxes that I run, and I'm big on safety.
Oh yeah, that's where you gotta be.
Yeah, but for as fast as these modified trucks are getting, you're right around it's God we all want to go home at the end of these. Not only the drivers, we want the fans, we want the staff, we want everybody to go home. As competitive as we are, we all want to go home back to our families. Was it
still human.
100%. Was it last year, the year before, that somebody broke their back in one of the trucks?
That was Nick.
Oh, yeah,
and then and then just this last year, Brad and Brock's cousin Kyle broke his at Croton on the jump in the Bronco.
Yeah, and that goes right back to
hey Wesley, what's up, buddy?
Hey Wes.
Wes is curious now about the box, Tim.
I'll tell you what, I will send you guys a link. There's a couple. 3Built is what I use. 3built.com. I know that there's a couple guys up out of Michigan that have designed their own RI box that's a little bit cheaper. I've heard that they work well.
WTF's got it on their website. They have it up there that's out of Michigan.
Yep. And I think that's who it is. I think that's where they're marketing them. 3Built is what I run because that's what the monster truck guys run. That's what at the time when we were running the Jamboree circuit doing stuff, that's what they required us to have was the 3Built.
Really?
Yeah. Well, for the mega trucks. So that's really what I got. That was the one that they preferred to run. Because they can have a master box and control it through the team and what have you. But no different than those RI boxes. I'm always intrigued looking at other builds, and not that I'm a builder by any means. I never could have built that truck that I have myself. Don't have the tools, don't have the knowledge. I thought it was really interesting being able to see it, but even as simple as your seat. Of understanding the geometries of you want the back of your legs to catch, coming off of these jumps and I golly, because of a name, I don't want to infringe on anything or knock anybody away from one. But the real prominent race seat around that I see a lot of people run, not having a full containment seat that really fits your body. Hey, I'm going to save $300 because I think I can fit into a 16 or a 15 or a 17, and not having a true custom seat. Those seats will save your life.
Indeed.
And that sounds nuts.
What do you think about those suspension seats that they have that a lot of people's been running? You can get through jigs and stuff.
So I don't know a lot about those.
I actually have one. That's why I was curious. Yeah, that's why I was curious because I got one. I'm getting one off of my cousin that's brand new, and I know a couple of the guys run them, but I also know a lot of the guys, like you said, run your seats they're pretty much stiff as a board. They're made for late. They're like for late models and stuff.
Correct. So here's the thing to always think about with seats. You're laid back, especially when you're jumping. Of your angle of your belts coming back, making sure they're sucking you back into the seat. How far it's laid back. When you look at my seat, I've had countless people look at it and go, "My Lord, it looks like you're sitting in a recliner, leaning back in it." But when I come down off of a jump, we want the back of my legs to catch the weight and not your butt tailbone. You don't want that everything to radiate up through your back. Right. That's when you're going to get hurt. Jake Burton, who does he's got balls of, I don't know if you can fit him in the back of a pickup truck. He's the one that does. He is a man in himself at what he does. He runs a suspension seat, swears by it. But with seats, you got to remember, You know what, when we say, and you know, in our world, we say, you know, pull it down so tight you can't hardly breathe, and then give it another tug. That's how tight we want to be. That the more you can move in a seat, the more you're going to get, the more potential you have to get hurt if you do wreck.
Right. Right.
You know,
You get that the rebound of it and everything else.
correct.
Your spine.
You know,
But you want to be
takes it.
secure.
Gotcha. Yep.
Your belts are going to stretch so much. If you have a lot of padding, you got to realize when you have that padding, you're sucked into the seat. You can't push yourself in, and then that back and forth. You know, Butler is kind of the name of seats anymore. When it comes to custom, Butler built seats are probably one of the best on the line. I run an ISP. They were real competitive with Butler. ISP doesn't. They're not in business anymore.
Okay.
You know, Butler has some, you know, some pretty awesome seats out there. Kirky has some too, as long as you can get them custom made. I'm not real familiar with the suspension setup that Jegs has, or who the manufacturer is.
Right.
You know, of that. I run a rigid seat. Mine is on a 21-degree setback.
Okay.
And I if I'm lucky, I run an 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/4 inch of foam in mine, and I'm solid. I mean, I am one with the truck.
Nice. So
you're
pretty much connected when everything's there, so you're secured. And okay,
now
that's cool.
When I bottom out, I know I bottom out. You know.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, but that angle of the seat all affects, you know, no, do you guys require on your modifieds to run Hans devices?
Some the only time that they did that was right there towards the end of the jamborees when the last jamboree, a lot of them were starting to enforce them in the mod guys. Now some of them do, some of them still don't. They still wear their neck, you know, the neck braces and stuff like that. But I know Jason Daniels, that man. I know he has the whole Hans and setup on his truck. So, but yeah, Wes said for the local scenes and stuff, they're not required to wear them. But yeah, that would be another good one you could add, you know, to the mechanism,
the hybrid sport. For sure. You know, when it comes to that, you know, because look, I get it. You know how much these seats are, how much these Hans devices are, how much these good helmets are. You know, but you know, I don't know what event I was at, but I saw a couple guys wearing motorcycle helmets in them. And look, the design of those helmets, yes, are they going to keep you if your head's, you know, is it better than nothing? Yeah, but their SFI ratings are not the same as what we need in cages.
Yeah, those I've actually personally in the derby world throwing, I've actually seen those motocross helmets just from hitting the back bar where they've got hit hard. It'll crack faster than anything because my helmet I got when I had my motorcycle, I actually went to Jegs and bought an actual race helmet for mine. I mean the SFI's out of it, but because I was riding a bike, I went, instead of getting a motorcycle helmet, I went and got a race helmet, full face shield, everything for it. And hell, I spent $450. I think that's the most I've ever spent on. But I'm like you. I was big on, I'm riding, you know, the highways. I had my jacket with the padding, everything on my crotch rocket. So I mean, I prepared for it, and that's where I am with the rough trucks. That's like working with getting in. There's fire suits, even if it's going to be a stock. I want them to have at least a fire jacket, you know, the safety jacket and a good helmet for them.
They actually just with us, and you know, I run race fuel in mine. I run a naturally aspirated motor in mine. Run race gas. I'm the guy that likes to be different. I don't like to jump on the same bandwagon. Hey, everybody's doing this, so be a little bit different. But they require us this year to wear a fire shock underneath our helmets, just in case. Yes.
Well, I mean they're nothing. I mean, watching YouTube videos, man. Some of those you guys in that circuit.
Well, you know,
covering all your bases.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, and if we all think about it, we're all sitting on top of our transmissions in those trucks. Every one of those guys that has, whether you're sitting on the left side or you're sitting in the center there, that transmission's running right next to you for as far back as we set the motors. That transmission fluid is one of the most, that's as flammable as gas. Once it starts, because, once it ignites, it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping all the safety things lined. And I'm not trying to change anybody, any sport or anything like that.
Right.
But I looked at some of those modified trucks that I saw. Maybe it was up there. Maybe it wasn't modified. Maybe it was the class down underneath up at Croton. And I'm just thinking, my Lord, how are they not all over the place in this seat, or belt set up?
The biggest problem is where you see a lot of with the rough truck racing. Yeah, some of the mod guys. I mean, they're set up now, but watching these stock guys out here.
Yes.
Take the time. I mean, Lance. I said I'm not driving unless I got a back support bar behind my seat where it's adjusted, and I'm not running without a 5-point harness. He goes, put a bar in, put your harness in.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm putting one in his gold Jeep. He put one in his. Ever since first time I ran, I did the whole stock seatbelt. I'll tell you what, I heard fucking more from a stock seatbelt than I ever did wearing a 5-point harness in any style of racing I've ever done. When I've been jarred around or whatever, even in a razor, jumping the razor with my cousin or my friends when we went out trail riding, I will take and swear by a 5-point, even a 4-point harness any day of the week over a regular seatbelt.
100%.
More secure.
Oh yeah. You watch these guys flop around in these stock 2-wheel drive trucks and everything else. They're laying clear over in the seat, under the dash. It's like, holy cow, take the extra 5 minutes. I've even had guys my drag racing buddies, hey, I've got expired harnesses. I'm giving them away. The bad part is I've got like 6 sets of harnesses. Hey, I've seen people asking. I've gave 2 or 3 away already just because they wanted to throw them in their trucks. I try to snag them as much as I can because I know guys can use them for the off-road stuff.
I would rather see an outdated, SFI rated outdated by a year or two, that was in shape than not.
Hey, Zeppius, that's the way to do it, man. I mean, especially with the races you guys put on out there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, safety should be on anybody in any motorsports. That, especially when it comes to any style of racing, other than motocross, there's you can't help what happens there. But in a car, in a truck, anything like that, there's too many people that cut corners. I've seen guys lose their lives in drag racing because they didn't want to do the job right with a roll cage, but they had a super fast car, and they lost their lives, and it sucks because they didn't want to take the time. I get it, the money's there, but these are people that their kids don't have their dads or their moms coming home because of this.
100%. There was a tragic one that happened in the mega truck world down at Rednecks with Paychecks with I know I'm gonna butcher his name, but I think it's Vasquez or
is that the one in Louisiana? Was that the one?
That happened in Texas, Rednecks with Paychecks, where he
rolled. Okay. Oh yeah.
The Diablo truck, I think, is what it was.
Yep. I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
And I don't know that anything was shortcut. I never heard that anything was shortcut. That was just and that was a very well-known chassis builder in the off-road world. And
it was just a misfortune that it happened. I mean, it can.
And that's kind of my point is, look, whenever we strap in, whenever we do anything can happen, whether it be, flywheel flies apart, this or that, anything can happen in these situations. That the things that we can control, we and for the longest time, God, and this is going to sound like I'm some rich prick, and I'm not. My mentality was, look, if you don't have, it's one thing to build a car or build a truck or build whatever. If you don't have the money for the safety, leave it in the garage.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the truth, though.
And I understand.
You know, but then it's a double-edged sword. You know, once again, it's okay. If we don't have him go, he's going to get PO'd. He's going to talk to his buddies. They're not going to come to this. And the next thing you know, then the track dies. Why? Because because they wouldn't let me race because they didn't like me, and nobody hears the real side of the story.
Yeah, it's always the negative that's made out, not why it was because of a safety feature. Safety feature, not because we don't like you. It's because we wanted you to go home in one piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and that is a big thing, and that's what goes right back to our start. That's what drives up these insurance costs.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest. The reality, like we were talking technology and what have you, it's so easy to get a video out in front of 1 million people across the world to show an accident. Let's be honest. Carnage draws an audience. I don't care what it is.
Carnage and drama. Carnage and drama is the biggest draws when it comes to videos.
You know, so if you have Carnage, that video is going to go like wildfire. Well, then, you know, look, not only us, but they've got smarter people than what we do that are sitting there just scouring, looking for this accident or that accident in this sport or
just
what
to shut us down.
Here.
You know, this is happening. Yeah, here we're gonna pull the plug on it. Sorry, see ya. We're not gonna give we can't provide this. Oh yeah, well, and then so
risk assessment.
Now, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Now, one of the other questions I got when we're done here for you, we're gonna go into I'd like for you to share your setup of your truck and everything, if you don't mind, when we're done.
Absolutely. That is one good thing about mega trucks, really. You know, and I don't know if it's this way in the tough truck world. We don't have a lot of secrets. You know, if you saw my truck, you can see all the Lexan, and I'm going to get to all the details of it. It's a 2-inch 120 wall full tube chassis.
Nice.
Axles are 611 Meritor axles, so I believe that they're rated at 14,000 pounds. I think is what they're rated for.
Nice.
Each axle is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm running 2 steer axles. They're planetary, 2-to-1 planetary axles. So what that does, that takes a lot of stress off the ring and pinion in the axle shafts because I'm reducing out of the rotating mass.
Nice. Heck yeah. I was wondering how that worked with the 4 wheels. I know Al's got it on his modified, but it just, you know, a little bit from there. I was wondering, would it be better to have the 4-wheel steering than it would be in just a straight axle? I mean, Al's got it down, you know, with the mods, but.
So, well, now the whole reason I'm running the 2 steers is because for the 4-wheel steer. I've always wanted a truck 4-wheel steer, and we figured that when we were building a new truck, might as well, you know, let's not leave anything for the heart to be desired. Gotcha. You know, Clee Tech up out of Michigan, he's the brainiac behind that whole entire build. He literally built it on our shop floors in between 2 different shops and brought his table down, and he did a fantastic job on it. I'm running.
It's a beautiful truck in person.
Thank you.
I was just looking at the build for it here on Facebook. There was a post about it. Looks beautiful, man. Looks awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And I can't take the credit, man. He was a brainiac for it. He let me hold the flashlight, and the big joke around here was he let me hold the flashlight, and half the time I didn't do that right.
Don't blame it.
But I'm running 20-inch CNC shocks, full nitrogen shocks on it. BKT tires that are cut and scooped. American Force wheels, and then from there we go to the power plant. Boone Roberts, right out of Utica, Ohio, here locally. He put that together for me. My original was a 600 or 720 cubic inch motor. Was my original. Yeah. Yeah, big cubic inch, big cubic inch.
Yes, very big cubic.
This one here is a 665. Last year I was running a custom Broswell carb on it and spraying it with nitrous. This year, due to my gracious sponsors with Nitrous Outlet, we're doing a complete EFI conversion. Going to go direct port, full EFI conversion on it. Really, I'm actually right in the middle of getting that done now. We stripped the whole truck apart. We had a fluke thing that happened, so we got a sponsorship for paint. I'm not going to put them out there just yet because I don't want them to take any heat over what I'm going to say. They did a fantastic job. I mean, the body on that truck looks beautiful. Brian Blackburn's the man behind the paint gun on all the truck. But for whatever reason, at the time their paint supplier, it's different now.
Right.
They kind of talked us into a product for the chassis, and it didn't hold. It didn't like the way that it was applied, and so the coating on the chassis started peeling. So we stripped the entire truck down, every bolt, every nook and cranny, down to redo it. And so I'm just waiting on my intake to show back up so we can get the EFI conversion back together. And I never really understood computers and EFI and how all this works. I don't know that I still understand, but I got a much better understanding of what's involved, and there's a hell of a lot of wires involved. I realize, and I'm not a wiring guru by any means, but
right.
Then I'm running an FTI Power Glide with a what am I running? A 10-inch FTI drop box, reverser drop box, because my motor is in the rear, and I did that.
That is right. Yeah, that is right. It is
a rear engine. A mid-engine is what they consider it, because the engine plate is directly behind, I guess, my butt is where it is. Then my transmission comes forward.
Okay, since you brought that up, does that make you feel uncomfortable the first time you ever sat in the truck when it was running, having that right behind you like that?
It's a lot different. I don't know if I would say uncomfortable, but it was really different because, when my first truck, the motor sat in front of me. So right. I had little windows. I could see everything in front of me. Now my Lexan in front, all I'm looking at my training cooler on the bottom left and a fuel tank. So that's all I'm really looking at now. And,
I was always curious about the motor sitting behind people, and when you do that stuff. So
it's so natural now for me to be that way, for it to be there. The thing with me is I don't hear the exhaust like I used to hear in the truck. Actually, it's so quiet as can be. I don't even have to wear my earplugs in my helmet.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you were sitting there at Croton, letting it warm up and stuff, I know I seen you didn't have nothing. I'm like, man, that's got to be rattling his brain.
It is. It is not. No, it's really surprising. Now outside, I mean, it feels like.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's just like seeing you.
Yeah. And funny thing about Croton, when I went out the first time, now mind you, I haven't done a lot of freestyling. Something that I'm really wanting to get into. That's kind of why we built this, was so I could race it. I could mud bog it. I could do bounty holes. I can go out and freestyle and run with the monster trucks. I wanted a truck that having a flat race truck is a lot of fun, and I had one. But you look at all your buddies out there that are doing hot laps here, or doing this or doing that, and you're like, man, I got to sit and watch because I have a purpose-built racetrack.
Right.
And so, but up there at Croton, when I back into that little jump the night of the monster truck show, I about knocked myself out when I came.
Did you really? When you landed that?
Yeah. When my wife Joan, she heard that. He rattled his cookies a little bit in there, and first thing she asked, I always wear my Hans device.
Right.
For whatever reason, because I was not planning on doing anything really stupid and abrupt. Hey, I was going to go out and hit some jumps, do some donuts.
Yeah, just let it hang out for a little bit. Right. Yeah, you surprised. I was standing right by Tim. He goes, Tim got off, covered the mic. He goes, he's not going to do what he thinks he's doing. I said, it looks like he's lining up for it. And sure enough, you did. Tim was like the rest of everybody's like, oh my goodness, he did it. But yeah, he covered up and told me and Renee, he goes, he can't be seriously going to hit that like what we think he is. I looked over at him. I go, you're thinking the same thing? And he goes, yeah, let's see what happens here. Maybe he's just turning around. And next thing you know, whoop, there he went. That's like, oh, dude, you got some air on that too when you hit that for just a short run.
Yeah, on that back end jump. Yeah, and but I hit so hard on that, not sure what. Well, actually, after I was taking the truck apart, did realize why. Joking story, the builder of the truck. I'm a farmer, so tell me a farmer that doesn't have grease on everything. If it moves, it's supposed to have grease on it, right? Well, the joke was he hid my grease gun because he hated touching anything because he was getting grease all over. We're not farmers here. We're mega truck guys,
right?
And so I was always real conservative on my grease, but I actually realized that my back sway bar had locked up on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you really look at a photo of that, when I came off of that, my rear axle didn't drop out to where I used any shock. So
right,
I used about 4 inches of shock on that.
Oh, shit. I didn't, oh, damn. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, it didn't feel good. I'm not going to lie.
No.
I actually... during the build, we actually changed my seat around. I kept my old seat just in case I ever wanted to, and that's one of the things that we're going back to is going back to my original ISP seat.
Nice.
I hit some pretty big jumps with that with the old truck, and never once did I walk away and go, oh my god, I can't walk tomorrow.
You actually felt it's like, okay, it's time to go back old school. Go with old reliable.
And I went to a seat that we poured the foam in it, and I'm not saying that everybody's going to hit the jumps like I do or hit those hit them like that. But that really goes to show that little bit of setback difference, but from one manufacturer to one that's designed for your body and your body build and what have you, and I get it. They're expensive. I think I've got $2,000 or $3,000 in the seat of my truck.
Well, like you were saying, I mean, we're husky guys. We got a hell of a lot more weight coming down than some of the guys, that are 100%. In these things. So we gotta have that stuff for your, that style, for that style racing and stuff, because you're gonna get hurt if not. And it's like we've been saying throughout the show, talking safety, that can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
And speaking of big jumps, I don't know if you're watching on Facebook, Chris Kelly. I still remember the night during a monster truck show where you launched your Ranger big time that one year and everything else. It actually came up as a memory on one of my videos on Facebook. He goes, I felt that for a week. That one hurt. He goes, but I had fun doing it. But yeah, he had a modified rough truck doing freestyle. They let him go out and do freestyle during a monster truck show. He hit the big jump with this thing, man. And I mean, he was up in the air and he came down hard. I'm surprised. I'm glad he didn't, but I'm surprised he didn't mess himself up more than what he did. But he had the custom seat done. But he still felt it because that truck wasn't made for doing mega truck and monster truck jumps like that.
100%. You got to use all that shock, and when you've only, what do you guys run? 16-inch shocks, right?
Some of them. I think, Wes, if you're still in here, what size shock coilovers do you run? I think Brad in his truck, which is Dale Denall's old truck, I think his is 18 or 20-inch coilovers he runs in his. In his, some of the guys I think is like 16, 17-inch. Usually what they run on most of them for them. Okay. But everybody's got a different setup compared to what they do.
Right.
Like Al's, like Nick's, Shorty's, Adam's old truck, Shorty's truck, and everything else. Those trucks, especially like Nick Anderson's a prime example. That is a pro honestly a Pro 4 chassis, in my opinion. Him and Jason Daniels have Pro 4 modified rough trucks. Just the way the
Yeah,
4-link setup, everything's done on that.
right.
And Wes has got in the Jeep mod. I mean, his is just as Wes runs 14-inch in his.
Okay,
So
14. Okay.
with his, but
Okay.
yeah, those. But just to see the different ideas brought in from that stuff on these chassis, even with you guys with the mega trucks. I mean, getting a look at yours, the similarity. The parts are just a little bit bigger,
A little bit bigger.
and that's. But it's the same concept. The way your
Yeah.
set, your setups are.
Did you notice when you were looking at mine that the angle of the shocks, how they were angled?
I was there when you were explaining to somebody that asked about them. It's your setup as your razor, set up
Yeah.
like a razor.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was cool as hell. I was like, dude, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Set in front to back. It actually makes the shock think the truck is heavier. So then
Really?
you put more nitrogen yes. It actually fools the shock by putting them on that angle, forward and back. It actually fools the shock to make it think it's heavier. So then when you come down, you've got more rebound.
Okay.
Shock. Because you're putting more nitrogen in them or more spring to them to hold it up where you want. Guy from down in Texas, chassis builder down there is the one that kind of started that out. But kind of back to the build. So my steering cylinders are Dave Tucker. He's the guy that's who built those steering cylinders out of his machine shop. And he's the guy that has the independent suspension monster truck out west. I don't remember if he's from Oregon or what have you. DT Machine is where those came from.
He follows a lot of Larry McCormick's races out in California and stuff.
Yes,
It's his stuff with Larry. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I follow them on Facebook and stuff, man. Dude, that thing is that monster truck's nasty for being independent.
Yeah. But then I'm running just a smaller one, what he does. But I jokingly tell everybody that legitimately I've got a ball and socket. So I've got Heims out at my two ends of my axles for the steer part. What connects to the cylinder is legitimately a 2-inch ball and socket. A 2-inch trailer ball is what it is. Yeah. And it's a ball and socket, and that's how you can run your bottom tie bar with your steering. Because if you try to if you don't have additional pivot points with your tie bars, it'll lock your steering up. Gotcha. So that's how we get around with it. The trajectory and the geometry all works together. With that ball and socket. It doesn't tie it in like having Heims on both ends.
Right, or doing like a normal tie rod where it's only got the one straight connection. You got the vertical of a ball where it'll rotate. Nice. Yeah. I like that. That's
very much
nice
so.
Setup, man. That is freaking awesome.
Up at Croton, I don't think up at Croton, except for the night of the drag races up there. But we do run a pretty, I say pretty healthy shot for what I do, being on and off the throttle. It's a decent shot. We run a 425 shot of nitrous to the motor there to get a little bit more giddy up and go.
Very nice.
You gonna stick with that this year on going over to EFI? Is it gonna be as soon as you smash that throttle, it's gonna be an instant thing, or are you gonna have like a delay for like they do in most of the nitrous drag cars and stuff? Is it gonna be kind of a delay when it comes in, or is it gonna be like instantaneous and stay?
So the way we'll set it up on what percentage that the throttle is open as it reads through the TPS, the throttle position sensor.
Okay.
Not let it kick in at below a certain RPM and an RPM cut out, and that's what I'm finding that for the longest time I ran a 7AL3 box. That's what I ran.
And that was common. That's a common box. It's like the 6A. I mean, that's
exactly.
Common.
You run around. Everybody's got chips around. If you need to change a pill or a chip or whatever it is, with this, it's. I was explained to it the other day. Probably the best explanation that I have, that I keep wanting to call it a computer, and it's a computer, and it's a computer, which it is. Don't get me wrong. ECM. It's just a big switchboard inside. You know, you tell it which switches to come on, which things to come off. So it's where before with the 7AL, I was running a hard wire over to here and it ran back. Now I'm just running a trigger from the ECM to tell a relay to
nice.
to,
It's
to run.
less wires you got to fight with to set up to keep out of the way and not get rubbed
It
or
is.
cut or anything else.
100%. You look at the wire harness, and I think it's about 2.5 inches in diameter that has my entire wire harness. But I've only got to run 6 wires, legitimately. Trans brake, nitrous, powers. You know, just kind of your basic.
But your basic stuff that other than that, like you said, the additive of having the nitrous controller and stuff to activate the nitrous. But you got the basic layout of similar to like I ran in my Derby cars running GM motors. You know, I had mainly 2 wires to run that with a GM setup. So that's awesome that you can do that. And that's another thing. Technology with this stuff, especially EFI side, I'm still kind of learning, especially getting into the LS stuff because I got a couple friends that's getting into it and my cousin messing with it. And EFI is not as bad as I thought it was honestly going to be, even though I'm an old school carbureted, you know, screwdriver and be done with it. And it's like, damn,
100%.
this is sweet. This is sweet. You just go in on your laptop and, okay, I want this injector to put a little, these 2 injectors, put a little more fuel in this cylinder. Yeah. And, you know, I'm like, damn, this is actually simple.
They say you can gain almost 15% more horse by just converting over to EFI. We'll see. It goes to the dyno the middle of February on a chassis dyno.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that, man.
Yeah, well, you and me both. As long as everything stays together, you know how it is.
Oh yeah, yep. That's that trial and error thing, and it sucks because if something does go wrong, there goes the wallet on whatever happens. But we're gonna keep it where it's positive, and it's gonna be successful dyno pulls and everything else for you.
Exactly. You know, and I don't know if you guys have seen the old OG truck, the original wrong turn. It was an extended cab Colorado.
I've seen pictures of it and stuff when I started looking in.
Yeah, the body that's on this truck is the same body that was on the other. We actually cut 18 inches out of that fiberglass cab on that to make it a regular cab because nobody makes a regular cab Chevy Colorado.
It's always the extended. Nope, it's always the extended. You get the extended cab body.
Now, the other funny thing about this, so if you look at the original body on it, it had this gaudy, I think it was a 10.5-inch scoop. And nobody could understand how in the hell I could see out of it, which, as I told everybody, I couldn't. I just kind of aimed. I looked for a telephone pole.
You're just winging it. You're like, okay, we're going.
And that's why a lot of times, if it wasn't a Jamboree event, I would run without my doors and hood on. It was just kind of a cage because I could not see.
Gotcha. Hey, that's understandable when you had something that big on for your vision. I mean, damn.
Yeah, and so we had the bright idea that, hey, we found a fiberglass hood that has this hood scoop on it. This is great. Well, I come to find out that's an Arts Fiberworks pulling truck body is what that was.
Really?
Yeah, well, what we didn't realize was the front clip was stretched 7 inches. So we went and we cut the hood scoop out of that hood. And we're like, all right, we're going to lay in the new hood scoop. We're like, shit, we're 7 inches too short.
So we that's the bad part about a pulling trucks, man, because especially if they're running a blower motor, they got to have that room for those pulleys and stuff. So
yeah. So we learned a lot of things on it.
I still got to say, man, that's got to be something, though, to live in a dream like that. You know, I'm living mine. I mean, it's not nearly like your experience, but at the same time, getting to know you and all the guys that are doing, you know, what I like to do, even though I'm still doing it the stock style. I love living it through your guys' eyes, and you know, and my kids. Hey, Dad, your buddy getting ready to run. You want me to film it for you? Because I, you know, they've accepted my family. You guys, the whole community. My
Yeah.
we're all family, and they're like, I show up to a rough truck event. Where's the wife and kids? Where's the
Yeah.
wife and kids? I come to Coshocton. Where's the wife and kids? Karen got after me, everything else. Well, that
Yeah.
night the wife had to work. The kids, they were hanging out with their friends and stuff, and I'm like, well, they're doing their own thing. Well, still, we're glad you're here, but where's the family? I was getting shit for the last
Well,
race
yeah.
of the year, and I'm like, okay, I'll make sure next year that I have them with me if they can do it. I mean, but yeah, it's just the community is just amazing that
It
it's like
is,
sure.
this.
and that's what goes on. That is what makes, my dad still to this day thinks I'm nuts for wanting to be in this off-road sport and stuff. And when I was up there at Croton, he made the comment to me, "Aren't you getting a little bit old to do this stuff? Isn't that awful hard on you?" Racing is racing, or getting out there, getting your 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 45 seconds of thrill is the smallest piece of the puzzle on it. It's the camaraderie, the brotherhood, if you will, of what everybody has.
Yep.
And what's so funny, people that I thought were my sworn enemies up there at Croton came up to me and said, "Man, that is an awesome truck you have. That's awesome that you're back in it." One of the funniest stories. I was a buddy I went to school with, and everybody thought I was just nuts back when I was in school, because it was all 4-wheel drives. Get it out in the mud, 4-wheel drive. I got to have the biggest, loudest truck around. I got to have this.
Oh yeah.
And they everybody swore that the 4-wheel drives were going to be my demise. And I ran into this individual, and he said, if somebody would have told me 35 years ago that you would be doing something like this, I would have told him you were nuts. This boy's going to be homeless. He's not going to have a pot to pee in. He's going to be
right.
And you just never know the opportunities that having that type of brotherhood and that type of dedication, you just, nobody knows what avenues and what doors it's going to open up.
Oh yeah, and it's and you've been fortunate. I mean, a lot. Everybody has, and I mean, myself included, to get the opportunity. I honestly thought I was going to live the motorsports side through my kids again. I wanted them to do. And with Lance, hey man, I need a driver. I got an extra Jeep, and I was told, you were wanting to get back into it. I never thought in 16 years I'd get back behind the wheel, and I forgot, honestly, besides watching, how much fun it was actually able to compete in that stuff. And it's like it rejuvenated that little kid again in me, just from the excitement from doing it. And now, like I said, I get to share it with my kids.
Well, yeah,
that makes it even more exciting.
Same thing with me, my grandkids, I'm lose count here, and I'm probably going to forget one. I've got many grandchildren,
right?
But them wanting to come to the events, my biggest fans want one of my grandkids, just, it's amazing to see that. But not only that, but then all the other kids, and I know I'm probably beating a dead horse on this, but with all these eyes that are on us as competitors, and as much fun as we have, seeing those kids come up and want to look at the truck, do this and that, that's really the highlight of my time at those events is all these kids coming up and getting the autographs, doing this, doing that.
Tim Howard, shout out to Tim Howard and his crew that he works with for Monster Trucks, man. You guys put these people out on a platform, and smiles for days. That night after the Monster Truck, kids and everything else. Oh, that was so cool. That guy in this truck, and pointing, I've heard him when walking away when it's done. He let me sit in the truck, or he let me sit up, by it, or held me up there. He signed my flag, or he signed, I was watching Dale Workman and those guys. Some of the kids didn't have flags. The parents are like, hey, can you mind signing their shirts and stuff? Dale's kind of like not used to he's done the monster truck shows, started getting into them. And he's like, this is kind of cool. I like this, where I'm getting people coming up asking me. I'm just a modified tough truck racer. enjoying what he does, and you got kids and even some adults. Hey, can you sign my flag for me? And it's just to see your guys' faces light up just as much as the people.
I guess, and I've always said, stay humble, at everything.
Indeed.
I was blessed how I kind of, I wouldn't even say skyrocketed, but how I got more known in the mega truck world. And staying humble with that little bit of publicity, that little bit of stardom, if you will,
Right.
goes a long way. But I kind of got real humbled one day. We were at dinner over in Columbus, and we have shirts and apparel that we have for the truck and what have you. Seems like down south we sell a lot more than what we do up here. But
because
we do have quite a following.
You're in mega truck country, man. With, like you said earlier, down south and everything else, and on the East Coast, it's mega truck country, man. You can't go wrong with there. I will vouch for that.
And one day we were at the wife and I, Joan. We were out to dinner one day, and she goes, "Hey, that guy has one of your shirts on." I'm like, "No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't." And, so I legitimately get up to use the bathroom because I wanted to see if he really had one of my shirts or hats on. Just curiosity. And I kind of struck. He sure did. It kind of struck up a conversation with him, and had no clue it was me until after he left, and while he was getting ready to leave, and I said, "Hey, you want me to sign your shirt for you?" Just kind of joking with him. He's like, "Why would I want you to do that?" I said, "Well, that's kind of my truck there. I just thought it was pretty cool. I want to shake your hand. Thanks for promoting me and what have you." But I kind of got real humbled in that experience, realizing that, hey, there's a lot bigger following to these sports than it's a lot bigger than, hey, I grew up in Licking County, Ohio, or in the Greenville area and what have you. It is, you don't realize whose lives you touch, whose lives you don't touch, and that kind of goes right back to that, what I was saying a little bit of, there's always eyes on you somewhere along the line, whether it's adults, whether it's children, everybody's watching you when you're getting ready to race, when you're lining up, when you're doing this, when you're doing that, people are watching you, and whether we want to be, whether we just want to be racers, at some point we're influencers for the sport itself.
As much as we want to swallow our pride, we literally are, and we've talked about that all night, man. It's, if we don't get the future in this, we ain't going to be able, when we're gone, it's no longer going to be in existence.
Right.
So we got to keep the young blood in here. I mean, that's
100%.
And that's anything that's motorsports, any activities, camping, fishing. I've noticed that's another thing off subject that's starting to be a dying thing, man.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Yes, you're 100% right. And I hate getting off subject, but you're right. So this was probably one of the first years I bow hunt a lot. First year I didn't really go out and gun hunting. Man, I can remember growing up as a kid, deer season, you had deer camp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The uncles, everybody got together. You went out in the woods in the morning, you met. You got to say, when you were a kid, you got to say a couple curse words because you were out at deer camp with the guys, and they might give you a deer and what have you. And out, and I live in rural, out in the country. I think the entire week I heard 3 or 4 gunshots out there, and I'm like, man, that is just becoming a dying.
Yep. Yeah, because actually the sad part is, looking over for just the week of gun season here in Ohio, Licking and Knox County was actually the lowest counties, and usually they're the top 2 counties out of 88 counties that does deer hunting. They were in the top 15. They weren't even top 10 this year for gun season. Yeah, which is unusual for the first time in my life where I could understand it. And being a hunter myself, that's like not even in the top 10 counties for fucking deer harvest during gun season. Wait a minute, it was either Knox or Licking County flipping back and forth every season. It was like a competition. Okay, this year Knox County is going to take back first, or it was, they shared almost or had the same amount, but it was always seemed like a battle between Knox and Licking County for, we're going to be the top top counties for deer hunting. But yeah, they didn't even hit the top 15 this year from what I was reading on the reports for gun season.
Yeah, I've realized it through and through that everybody's worried about Iraq. And, man, 20 years ago, yes, it was cool if you got a big rack or on the deer.
I want the meat. I want the meat. I don't care if I get a buck or not. I want the meat in my freezer and fridge.
Well, but
Yes, sir.
yeah, not only that, but it was the camaraderie, the brotherhood that.
Yes.
Just like with us in our racing community. And that's when you got the family bonding. Hell, deer season. Mine was even in January when rabbit season opened up, going with my friends and his uncles and their dads. And my one uncle always went with us, when he could. But to spend time with my friends, to go out hunting still, because my uncles were busy with work, or they, work got in the way during hunting season. They couldn't take time off. So I had my friends go out rabbit hunting. We didn't have dogs with the group of guys I used to hang out with.
Rabbits.
My first year doing this with these guys, actually rabbit hunting. You got your Carhartts on? Yeah. You got your jacket on? Yeah. You got your muck boots and everything on? Yeah. You're running up through the thicket. What?
Yeah.
they're like, this is your first year. You're running through the thicket. I'm like, okay. They go, keep your gun here, which I kept it where, it was out of the way. All right. I had my gloves on, crossed my arms, walked through the thicket, chasing them out. And then we'd limit out between, there was like 12 of us. And then we'd rotate after one round, said somebody else. So somebody, I got a chance and that person, whatever. But yeah, my first year to ever experience the no dog hunting, I was the dog. I was like, this sucks.
I have done that many of years. I was the dog.
But yeah, I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
It goes right back to like what you were saying earlier, though. If we don't get the longer generation,
trucks are all pull up on the top by the stands, and they let the kids get. Oh hell yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, Zemphius, dude, I get the money. I'm coming to see you at least try once this summer to come out there come out and hang out with you, man. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Road trip in my near future.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going west.
Absolutely. Yeah, make sure to send me your dates of when it is there in Croton. So
yeah, definitely. I will definitely. I actually went through while we were talking. You were explaining the truck. I added you to the group chat that everybody's in on Messenger. Okay. So I sent you an invite and stuff on it. Yep, I sent that to you. So yes, I got that in there. It's got what it is. But yeah, like I said, by the end of February, I'm hoping to have the dates locked in for the 18th and 19th. It's a Saturday, Sunday deal at Croton. If it goes, I'm not going to cross guarantee. I mean, yeah, I may lock it in and lose the money because the insurance is what's going to kill me. I'm trying to get that. That's my only dilemma I'm running to. Other than that, I'm pretty much set up. And then getting some more sponsors on the thing, getting that. Yeah. The insurance right now is my only snag that I'm running into. But yeah, if you don't have nothing that weekend and it does go through, I will stay in contact with you. And absolutely. When it leads up to it, and if you're free, I would be more than happy for you to come in and be a filler and everything else, and let it hang again like you did at the monster truck race, man.
Yeah, so. No, I enjoy that, especially locally. Like I said, I don't get to run.
Right. Yeah, like you said, it's you're traveling 300-400 miles to go race, and then you got the opportunity to do the summer race with us and the monster truck show with us. That was fucking amazing to be able to do that right in your own backyard. You know what I mean?
It was. I've got one planned in. Actually, it's funny. The week before Croton, I have one, and then I think Croton again this year. I've talked to Tim about.
Yep.
And then I've got another one scheduled somewhere else in between the race series, and it's so hard to do the full series on the race with as far as we have to travel.
Right. Oh yeah. The fuel costs, everything getting
Yeah,
there. I mean,
yeah,
you're fortunate, and then the groceries, to take for the weekend, stuff like that.
absolutely.
But
I
yeah,
mean, that's what and I don't know. If you don't mind me asking, I don't know. Fuel wise in these modifieds, what do what do majority of these guys run? What do they run? Your typical race fuels, your
so I
116s.
think majority of them run 116 and stuff in them. Wes, if you're still here, buddy, I know you're usually here with me in the chats, bud. What race fuel do you usually run? One Wes runs 110 in his.
Okay.
I think Brock and Brad run 110 in theirs.
Okay.
I can't remember in Shorty and them's old truck. I think it's the same, but I don't know. I have to get with Dale, but I think it's 110, and
Okay.
his race fuels that Stinger. I like the pails, the designs on those pails. He gave me one. I was like, I like that. Here he goes. Here, just he
Yeah.
cut the top out of it for me. We cleaned it out, made sure it
Yeah.
didn't. But yeah, I got one of those. Put a plastic bag in. It's my little trash can in my
Right.
room, but still, just the design on that. But yeah, a lot of them it's usually 110 and stuff.
Okay.
So,
On,
but yeah,
on a typical event, what do they go through? 10, 15 gallons of fuel at a typical event?
I don't think. I think the only weekend time that they really went through fuel was during the Jambos. They really do. It's when they have the multiple run deals is when they actually use up fuel. I know Dale and Side Chick. I think he said every two races he usually has to top off, depending if they do top 10 run backs like Knox does and stuff. But normally they can get a whole night in before they do. About less than 10 gallons West does on his.
Okay. All right.
So
So would you believe that night up at Croton when I ran the drags? I don't know if you were up there the night of the KOA drag race.
I didn't get a chance to. I was stuck. Unfortunately, I got stuck at work that night. I missed it. I was hoping to get up there, but yeah, I
That
ended
was
up.
a long night there. I think we finally got out of Croton, I think at 1:45 that night, and then had to be back up there for the monster truck show the next day. We were all dragging ass. I'm not gonna lie. Up there at Croton, I think that the drag race we went through 25 gallons of race fuel, 116 race fuel, doing the drag races. And if Tyler Peters on here, he's going to watch this. He gave me a run for my money one night.
But he had Dale there, and before he sold the orange truck to Jared. You guys were pretty damn close in the video. I saw all that, and I'm like,
yeah,
these guys are hanging right beside this
man.
mega truck. I'm like, what?
Well, and then and then the night of the monster truck show, I went through all 18 gallons because that was one of the last shows I did, and I always drained my fuel out. I had about a gallon and a half left in my tank.
Really?
After that, just running up there at the monster truck show.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap this up. You got any sponsors and stuff you want to shout out here on the show, buddy? Before we end.
Ben Roberts Performance, Ben Roberts. He's my motor guy, man. He's been with me since day one in this stuff. Nitrous Outlet's been with me since day one, pretty much. They've
shout out to Michael Poland and company at Nitrous Express and all those guys over there. You guys are doing big things, not only in all around racing community, but everywhere. You guys are kicking ass, man. I follow those guys.
Nitrous Outlet.
Oh, Nitrous. Oh, sorry, not Nitrous.
yeah. It's Dave.
Dave. Yeah.
Nitro Dave.
Yeah. Yep. That. Yeah.
Nitrous Outlet. Brandon's been the guy that's been working with me on my EFI conversion. We just picked up Basil Fuel, RD Holder and Company out of Logan, Ohio, was our fuel sponsor this year.
Oh, nice, man! Congratulations on that.
Yeah, and that we're still working on some sponsorships, but that's who's with us right now. And
Dave's a big sponsor of Bobby Dakota, Little Legend, for his nitrous. I I got it confused. My bad, Dave. I know you. Nitrous outlet. I seen the bullshit that they tried to start with you, and I apologize. You are a great businessman. You are actually the first one I followed that introduced me to nitrous when I was a teenager, and I apologize right here on stream. I love you, dude. Just a shout out, man.
Hell yeah.
But you know, I've ran a lot of. I've ran the Nitrous Express in the past. I will say they're busy, no different than anybody else. But they make you feel like you're their top priority when you're on the phone with them. And I'll get my hats off to those guys. They've stood through me. We, you know, through the thick and the thin, man, and really thrilled to have them on board with us this year.
That's why, like I said, I followed him since I was like 15 years old. And I'm 43 now. And like I said, he was the first person I ever seen introduced to the nitrous side of things. And then Nitrous Outlet came into the picture. There for a while, not to mean to interrupt, they weren't at each other's necks until these last couple years where bullshit drama got started. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. And it, you know, yes, and you know that's a whole other.
Yeah, we'll just leave that alone. But yeah, that's it used to be a.
What's that?
It used to be coming up through. It was they actually worked. Dave tried to work with them for the longest time up until these last 3 or 4 years, man. And it's like every time you turn around, the other places bashing him. Well, you know what? Dave's Dave. Dave treats, like you said, treats you like family. That's what it's all about. That's how you keep getting business, boys. Take it from Tim right here, shouting out to Dave for his sponsors and stuff. You know, Nitrous Express and them. When you're treated like family and you show them what you're about. So.
That's how you grow a beautiful community and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep screwing up.
Thanks,
I'm fired. Fire me.
No. But you know, then honestly, the biggest supporter I have on all this is my better half, Joan. She keeps me level. She keeps me going on stuff. I'm like most guys that have our mental breakdowns, if we will, or midlife crises. She tells everybody that, you know, I was out of town working when I found the first mega truck, and I said, I think I'm going to do this. She said, "Oh my God, I thought you were done with this part of your life. You know, aren't you ready to settle down?" But she has been my biggest supporter through and through. It kind of keeps me going and what have you. The sponsors, don't get me wrong, they're a valuable part, but I'm big on family, big on my family and
significant others. It's just like the younger generation coming up. If you don't have the support at home, your passion dies.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So,
thank you very much, Tim, for coming up tonight. I appreciate it, man. And I will definitely get in contact with you here in the next couple of days, and
absolutely,
we'll have some more discussions. And you're welcome. And like I said in the group chat, if you got any more ideas for anybody out there that's in the modified world or anything like that, I got Wes and them. You guys, Tim will be in our group chat for the event coming up. I'll keep you posted. Once again, thank you, Tim, for coming in. Appreciate you taking your time tonight, and I really enjoyed this, and I look forward to doing it again. So probably the end of the season. I'll probably try to have you come back up and stuff, man.
It was a true pleasure tonight.
So I'll go ahead and drop you down, and you can get out of here. You have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later on, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight to Speedway Stories with Tim Warner on here and with me and Johnny. Thank you in the chatters box once again, man. I appreciate you guys all being here, supporting the channel and stuff and everything.
Very much.
Next week on Speedway Stories, I will have Tyler Mead on here to talk and everything else about his rough truck racing and stuff. Knight Zemphius, thank you, brother, once again, for coming up and everything else with us, as always, when you can, big dog. But yeah, I appreciate this. Like I said, I'm gonna make 2026 my bitch on this channel. I'm gonna grow. keep this network growing. I'm going to try to keep the guests coming. Um, of course, race season's getting ready to come around here soon, and everything else is going to be a little harder. But I'm going to try to do some events when I get a chance to go to them, do them live on the network here. And I'll channel it over to Johnny, let him know if I'm doing it and he's got free time. If it's some odd day when I'm in an event, I'll have him stream it over on the Fidel, Third Eye Fidel. Check him out over on his channel. It's a chill channel.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem, Bubba. Tomorrow night, if you're into music and everything else, my buddy Glick, the one that put this network together and everything else, and gives us the privilege of sharing our passions and everything else with you guys on this network. It's called Glick's House of Music. He's going to be back to start 2026 with his show. I don't know if he's got a guest or not, what he's got planned, but I know he said he's got something special planned up. Wednesday nights, Michael and Brittany and everything else will be up here with Hump Day Ha-Has. It's a comedy deal and stuff. Come up and talk comedy and everything else with them. They Thursday night, me and my boy Johnny here, we're back with Cold-Blooded Conversations. We talk everything animals that deals with the animal kingdom, laws, all that stuff that affects anything animal-wise. We talk about the movies that have animals in it, animals in general, reptiles, tigers, cats, you name it. Friday night, I'm not 100% sure, but usually it's movie night with Michael and friends. Saturday is the main stable of this network. It's Nonsensical Nonsense. We have an open door challenge. We open the panel up to everybody. Come up, hang out, have a good time on Saturday nights. So this is originally a year ago. I met this man right here from that panel, and we've become good friends in a year time. So, and then Sunday, we're back here with Rick and Glick. They talk all things football. We got the college national championship and the NFL playoffs coming in full swing. So they'll be here talking about it. And then we're back here next Monday night, like I said, on Speedway Stories with Tyler Mead, another local guy to me for rough truck racing and stuff that I've come to know, get to know over this last season a little bit and everything else. He'll be up here talking about his career and life and everything else and just having a good time. Like I said, I appreciate you all tuning in tonight, man. It was an honor to have Tim up here.
Very much so.
I'm glad I got to meet him this past summer. I hope you guys learned some stuff tonight and everything else, not only just in general the mega truck side and everything else, but safety stuff and everything else too. So you all have a good evening. Let's kick this week's ass, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Bye.